This is Kurodake, the northernmost mountain in the Daisetsuzan mountain range in central Hokkaido. That's the north-facing peak and the slope you see there on the left-hand side. As the drone pans around, we can see the other mountains in the background. I don't remember all their names. Many years ago, I rode down that face that's just coming into view now with Masa Takeuchi, part of my very first video I ever made called Introduction. That was quite an adventure and an experience. Today's SLOG is outtakes from a movie that was made for Diggin Magazine called Behind the Lens. It released recently here in Japan on Instagram and YouTube. I'll put the link in the description below. This day and the next day, it was 2 days filming in the spring. It was a behind-the-scenes look at Tsutomu Nakata, the photographer, his style, his technique, his photography. And we spent 2 days in the spring filming in Kurodake and then Asahidake. This is Nakai Takaharu coming down. It looks decent from the drone angle, and I gotta tell you though, this was incredibly icy, hard conditions. You'll hear it later on in the video. When they come down, it's just this scraping sound as they scrape some crusty snow off the top of the ice that's on the slope there. It was a really rough day in the spring that we went to Kurodake. But Kurodake is a beautiful mountain. I just love it there. It is one of those really special places here in central Hokkaido. Always worth a trip. The view is incredible. And it's just a real great backcountry experience. All right, we're going back in time a little bit. This is earlier that morning as we got there. Beautiful, sunny morning. There's a ropeway. You take the ropeway from the bottom. It goes up very steep. I don't know the exact vertical specs, but there's no real view down in the valley. When you get in the parking lot, all you can see is these, surrounding steep faces. And you get in there, you buy your ticket, you look at the map, you check I think they have a little camera that shows you roughly what it looks like up at the top. And it was empty. It was a spring day. As I said, it was kind of rough conditions, and we were the only people there at about 8:40. Yeah, the Daisetsuzan National Park is truly one of the special national parks in Japan. A must-visit place for sure. And this ropeway and the building and the whole setup is quite old now, so it's a real classic. The architecture, the design, the style of the ropeway, just the whole feel of it is really nostalgic and cool. Now, when you get up in there, we start getting some height and we start getting views of the surrounding mountains, and it's really awe-inspiring to look at the whole mountain range. Kurodake is the northernmost peak of the range, so when you're up there on the ropeway, you're kind of looking at all the other peaks to the south, and they're impressive. Now that's Kurodake, there's the peak, and you ride that face right off the peak. You have to hike that whole shoulder up the right-hand side there, and it doesn't look like much maybe from this angle, but it's quite steep, and it can be quite a hike. So we got up there in the morning and we were hoping for some soft snow on top of a hard base. And there was about 1 centimeter or 2 centimeters of sort of soft snow on top of really hard conditions. The split board hike was one of the hardest I've ever done. It's quite steep, and even with the crampons on the split boards, it was really tough for Tsutomu and I to get up there. The riders all had snowshoes, so they actually had the advantage, and they got up to the shoulder here much faster than we did. Once we got up there and we looked around, we realized that the conditions were pretty rough, and it was going to be a tough day. Here you can hear the sound of the icy conditions. So that's Tsutomu right there. He's my neighbor now, and he's a real cool guy, photographer. He is a younger generation than me, obviously, and he's really close and films a lot with Nakai. Nakai is really the leader and the boss of his generation. 5th place in the halfpipe in Salt Lake City Olympics. Maybe a lot of people know him from that. Incredible freestyle rider, really a great talent. And Tsutomu has been filming that crew for a long, long time. So he knows how to capture really cool, authentic, backcountry freestyle kind of images. That's his style. If you want to see more of him, please check out the Behind the Lens movie that we made, which has a nice little interview with him as well. So we spent the night in Higashikawa, the little town there at the base of Asahidake. And we did a little CAR DANCHI, slept in our cars, and in the morning, Tsutomu made some nice coffee in the back of his van for us. That was really nice. I love these little car lifestyle moments and seeing all the gear that everyone has in their vans and their own individual style. I believe this was around the middle of April, so there was no snow at the lower elevations, but it was definitely a cold morning. And we headed up to Asahidake for what turned out to be a really magical day. So we get up to the top of Asahidake, we take the ropeway up, and I think we did one run, maybe 2 runs in the morning. It was pretty much a whiteout. It was snowing, there was kind of foggy conditions at the top. It was really tough conditions to film in. And then at the end of the day, we waited it out. We waited till the very end. And Asahidake is a westerly facing mountain, so when the sun sets, it really hits the slopes and you can get those beautiful sunsets. You're kind of looking at the sunset as you ride down, and the slopes are all, aglow in those kind of warm orange and yellow colors. And we got so lucky. We got about 30 or 40 minutes of that beautiful sunset light, as you can see here on our final run. But we had to sit in the waiting room at the top of the ropeway for at least 2 hours, just talking. And then we finally got out there and it cleared up and we got a couple of these great shots. It was so beautiful. So I'm jumping around here, time-wise. This is actually earlier in the day. I think in the morning when it was still kind of cloudy and crappy, and we were trying to find something. We were poking around into all these little zones that we know about, and it was rough, man. The snow was not the greatest, but there was a little dust on crust here that we were finding, and Ue making it look beautiful with a couple nice turns. Nakai, incredible style as always. Not only was he an amazing half-pipe rider, but he has now developed into one of the really smooth and stylish powder riding, snow surfing type of riders here in Japan. It's really cool to see. So back to that late afternoon session. This is a cool little zone that feels kind of like you're on another planet actually when you're out there. Just some rocks sticking out and these kind of cool formations and landscapes that you can kind of cruise through. And that's Tsutomu coming down, making a couple turns himself with the camera bag on. Ahoy ne, koko. 宇宙だよね。最高。Nice. And this is it. This is our final shot. Beautiful sunset. Heading down the valley, making our way home. So all of this footage got cut from the final movie, and I was really kind of sad about that because I liked it so much, but I remembered it, and today I just put a couple of these cuts together. It's a pretty raw edit, no color correction, nothing special, but I hope you enjoyed that. And I hate to waste footage. I hate to just have stuff sitting on my hard drives not being seen. So glad that I was able to put this together and put it out. Hope you're enjoying your new year and have a chance to get out there and get some snowboarding or skiing done during winter 2023. Thanks as always for watching the SLOGs. I'll be back with something fresh or something from the hard drives. You never know what's going to appear. Thanks for watching. See you again. Take it easy.